In fact, there are instances where I have thought that different questions where I have been asking about me have led me into questioning my own self. And that self have gotten me into, have led me, in fact, into imposing a very important question which I still am afraid to admit about such. It is about to be deprived of one's own will. It is of not having one's own will. So what is it like to be free? To not be bound of such where one could be able to rectify themselves with. To not be liable to one's own actions with regards to with every regard to whatever there is, whatever there comes after, thereafter. All those questions which I could not muster unto every honesty which I'm left with. I still do admit, I still do admit that there are a few questions where I am still am getting to not receive a proper answer to such. To those, in fact, which I have asked beforehand. What is it like to be more deprived of one's own will? And what is deprivation, in fact, in the context of what I'm suggesting, is to be free of such, of one's own liableness, to not be grounded with, to not be bound, to not be bound with one's own um, reason and regard and logic and whatever that one holds within religion, fact, discipline, law, everything. Every part of one's own self which restricts a man to be within his own limits. What if we take every part of that? What if we deprive a man of his own will and just let go of such? What could be the result of that infliction? What could be the result of that imagination? If we could deprive a man of his own will, what happens then after? What comes to him then after? If one does not hold responsible to his own supposed suppositions, as I'm still saying it. But the question is, which I still am afraid to ask to my own self, in fact, is that the very little things which identify a man with, call it different meanings or different purposes or different motives or different ideas, different um, occasional moralities, whatever one may call it. If we could deprive a man's discipline to his by removing his own will out of his own recognizable self, what could be the end product of that experiment, as I say it? If I can say that one more time. Deprive a man of his own will, and what comes then after? Deprive a man of his own self, and what comes then after? His own rectifiable, identifiable self, and what comes then after as the byproduct, as the very end product of his own life? What happens to him? As I said, if I could think more to it, what happens to that individual who have been removed of his own liable self? What comes then after? To not be bound of every regard there is on this planet, to be removed of such, where he hold himself, into his own place. Remove that. Remove every single aspect of his own living, and let's see what comes to him. What could be the very result of his own life from then on. Bear in mind that I still am afraid to ask the very questions which I still am imposing to my own self. I don't have any proper answer to such, but still I am asking those because I would like to know that. I would like to, with every honesty that a man could tell, remove his own will out of his own life, to be free, as I say it, to be free of whatever there is, whatever that bounds him into becoming a man, and just let go of that and see what comes thereafter. No, I don't suppose he's going to turn into a pure animalistic behavior. That is not the case here. What I'm suggesting is remove those little aspects of his own life which have governed him into becoming that individual. Remove it, remove his own liableness, remove the very soul that he belongs to, and the places, and also the memories of his own living, every part of what he recognizes his own living with. Remove it, and what comes then after? What comes to him? As I'm still, as I still am trying to figure out, as I still am, which I'm not. I couldn't imagine it. I could never be. That is not my doing. I don't think removing one's man's soul is going to change much to his own living. Why? Why do I not think? Why do I think it is not going to change him? Because the change comes from a reason, I suppose. And that reason has to be more related with him in order to elect that change from him, in order to affect him. There has to be a little reason to such. But removing every part of his own living is going to make him more a devoid, a complete null, as I say it, if I can say it. A blank state of his own, just shallow and nothing in between. Just nothing. I don't think that is going to change him a lot. I could not imagine such. Because remove every part of a man's life, but the very spirit where he belongs to. I don't think. I'm afraid, and I still am afraid to not think. I don't suppose one could remove his own spirit from his own living. That very spirit itself of his own living is that cannot be removed from his own life. Take out his life, his family, his friends, or whatever that is. Remove every part of it, but still that little thing, that element which he is grounded with. What he is grounded with. I don't suppose removing the questions aren't going to come for me, are they? Oh, screw that. Screw it. I cannot think forward, which such, with every regard to what there has to be, because if I could remove every piece of his own living, what comes then after? To not be bound of such is to, but also to be free is also a bit of curse, as I said. To be free of one's own self is not the way that one should do it. Freedom, in a sense, to have a little sense of liability, a tiny sense of responsibleness, if I can say it. If I can be more elaborate with such, what I'm suggesting is, we can remove every part of his own living, but that spirit isn't going to change him into becoming more devoid of such. That is not the way to look at it either. That is the wrong way to look at it. I'm not getting, am I? I'm not getting, because I could not even imagine of removing a man's will out of his own living. That is not the way that one should do it. That is not the way that one could imagine it. Which I am not still. Which I am not. Which is why I am still afraid to impose that question to me, because of a lack of answer thereof. Anyways, screw it. Screw the whole thing. Screw a man's life. Screw a man's life of his own living and then see what comes to him. What if he has nothing to lose? Okay. What if he has nothing to gain either? Nothing is going to change him. Because achieving and nothing amounts to nothing at all. Do not get any effort then after. Oh, screw it. That is one irrelevant question where I have said it.